Needn't ask, I'd say. You're not great. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay. I was looking at some of the backstory involving what's going on in your life. You're young mother to Leon, who's 1, homeless since 15. You eventually, I think I'm right in saying, got your dream home, the home that you had dreamed that you would get down in the greater Blackrock area some time ago, right? It's a council property, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, but do you share that building then, is that the case?
No, it's my own.
Yeah, okay. Why would it be upstairs neighbours causing an issue then?
Because it's actually a duplex, so mine's like a bungalow almost, you could say, and they're living in the upstairs property then. So the building is that's the reason why it's kind of like shared in that regard. And what I know you've been on to the council about this numerous times, but just give us a typical example of what you have to put up with. So it started off with kind of small things, being parties that would go on for kind of 12 hours a day. Then it would be kind of throwing fag butts down into my garden, into my front garden, throwing beer cans, throwing takeaway cartons, Chinese cartons, dominoes, scraps into my back garden. So I reported that to the council to start with. The council told me to take pictures, get proof and come back. So I did. I took pictures of everything. I came back. I reported it. They sent someone out to talk to him, and from there then it just got completely and utterly worse. Okay.
Did you send me those pictures, did you?
I don't think I did attach them. I actually phoned.
Okay. Could you send them to me when we finish this conversation?
I could, of course.
Very good.
I can, of course.
Okay, so I'm just making a note here. You said that these parties go on 12 hours a day. You're not exaggerating that now, no?
No, they could start at 2 or 3 in the day and go on till 2 or 3 in the morning. The last one would have been two or three Mondays ago, just before the long weekend, and it actually started at 1 in the day and it didn't end until 2:30 in the morning.
Okay. So clearly that's loud then. I know you spoke about the beer cans being thrown down into your garden, fag butts, takeaways, rubbish and all sorts of junk. It's got to be loud and noisy if it's a party. Is there music blaring and things?
Yeah, it is. And the last time they had the party, there was actually 30 people up in the house in the party. That's including kids and all. So you can imagine the noise of 30 other people up above you. And, you know, their kind of kitchen and their dining room would be just above my child's room. So...
Okay. This is absolutely bizarre, right? So this is a council property above you. You have the bungalow below. Yeah. It's a duplex, and they have the flat, if you like, above, right?
Yeah.
How many people are supposed to be living up there?
To be quite honest, I'm not 100% sure. When I approached the City Hall at the start, there was 14 people living there.
In what kind of a property?
It's a 3-bed property.
14 people in a 3-bed?
Yeah, in a 3-bed.
Would the council know that there's 14 people living in there? Would they have sanctioned?
They did send people out for a welfare check, and when I went back for another meeting to review what had happened, they told me that they did have to take some people out of the property and that I should have no further problems. But as you can imagine, I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Okay.
So have you ever spoken to them or tried to reason with them?
I did. I actually tried to approach them myself at the start because I didn't want to have to get onto the City Hall or get onto guards or get onto anyone. I wanted to be able to get on with my neighbours and live an easy life with them. I didn't want to have any problems with them, so I did try to approach it myself at the start. But they're not a kind of family that you can approach, and they're not people that you want to try reason with either. So I learnt my lesson at the start. Not take it into my own hands.
In what way did I mean? How's their English? In what way did they respond to you?
So they're a Romanian family. That's not the point of anything. It's nothing got to do with the thing. It's the antisocial behaviour that I'm most concerned about. But they are a Romanian family. It's mostly men in the family, so it's quite intimidating because, as you know, I am on my own. It's quite intimidating.
So when you did say something to them or tried to reason, what did they say?
They told me to mind my own business and a few other things that I don't know is too appropriate to say. Okay. Well, we can imagine. Only imagine, yeah.
So, because you said to me in your correspondence at the start that they would shout abuse at you.
Yeah, they'd shout abuse on a few occasions, catcall. It depends on kind of.
Okay.
There's two houses in the estate that I believe that they're related to, but the one above my own house seems to be the kind of meet up, kind of where they all go and meet up together, I suppose.
Are there parties in other residential settings?
So I suppose like it's like in the estate, I'm not too sure. Like it's not really, I'd get over a party if it was a reasonable time it was finishing up at, or if it wasn't 2 or 3 times plus a week. Maybe if it was once a week or once every so often, I'd kind of bite my tongue and I'd kind of hold back. I'm quite easygoing. But it's not. It's constant. It's 3 and 4 nights a week. It's disrupting me. It's disrupting my child's life, day-to-day life. My child also has needs. So as you can imagine, when he doesn't get the sleep that he needs, it's very, very hard on me.
He's 1 year old. He should be sleeping a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So it's very tough on us.
Okay. Did you call the guards?
I did. I called the guards, and I called the guards actually. A few weeks ago, the guards came out and they closed off the party, but they didn't wait until everyone left. So when the guards left, the upstairs tenant actually wasn't happy that I phoned the guards, and he tried to break into my house, and he actually got into my house only for myself standing in the hall and reacting, I suppose, as any mother would to protect her child, and jumping towards the front door. I just got the handle up in time. It's all on CCTV. The guards were back out in minutes. Different guards were back out in minutes. They took it very seriously. They told me pack an overnight bag and get out of the property for the night. That I wasn't safe there.
Did they really?
They told me that. Yeah, they really did. They told me that the address in question that they're known.
No, I don't want to identify anybody or any place in particular. I'm just talking about the greater area. The Blackrock's a huge area, so that's fine. So they said pack an overnight bag and leave.
Yeah, so I did that, and they actually offered to bring me somewhere to stay, but luckily I had a very good friend of mine, to come out and collect me and take me there. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning. My son was brought to my mum's house, so it was all very traumatic for us.
So you're saying that after the guards left from the first time, stopped the party, they left, right? The people upstairs stayed on, though. Party started again. Some individual came down and opened your front door.
Front door. Yeah.
That's got to be very, very traumatic for something like that to happen. And what was that in the early hours of the morning?
It was. So it was just after midnight, so about 12:30, 1:15.
You must have been very, very frightened.
I was. Yeah, I was absolutely shaken up now, to be honest, and still now I'm still quite nervous. I still can't really get it out of my head.
Did you go back the next day then?
No, I didn't. I didn't go back for a week. And even at that, I haven't stayed there on my own yet. I've asked 2 friends to stay with me on 2 separate nights. My son has only stayed there once since this happened, This
incident is quite recent, is it?
Yeah, so it just happened 3 weeks ago, literally.
Okay. So, Sarah, when the Gardaí went back the second time and told you to pack an overnight bag and leave, did they go back up again to the party?
They did. They went back up and they took it very seriously. They asked him why he was around my front door, and he told guards that he was trying to apologise for having the party. Obviously, the guards came back down to me. I showed them the CCTV. They could see for themselves that wasn't his intention.
But the party started again.
It did, yeah.
So why would he want to come down to apologise if the party started again?
That was the reason that they kind of knew. That's why he didn't come down.
Okay. What have the council said?
So the council have told me that they're going to give me three solutions. So the first solution was to stay where I am and to lock my front door. The second option they gave me, they offered me a property which is unsuitable for myself and for my son. It's on the complete opposite side of the city. I'm working in the area. My son's going to school in the area. So it wouldn't really be ideal to move me across the city. In saying that now, there was someone on the radio actually 2 or 3 weeks ago sorry, my mistake, about over a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, complaining about mould and damp in the same property. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I went to view the property anyway, and as I could imagine, it was in the condition I thought it would be, and I took photographs. I brought him into the City Hall. I explained to my housing officer, you know, it was mouldy, it was damp, there was mould and plaster falling off the walls and areas. She more or less told me it was signed off by health and safety, so she doesn't want to hear no more.
People shouldn't. Yeah. I'm quite sure she was kinder than that in the way she put it. Nobody should speak to you like that. I'm quite sure that she was a bit more sympathetic, surely.
Yeah.
What was the third option?
The third option was to hand back my tenancy and hand back my keys and go into emergency accommodation, which isn't an option. But
that's appalling. Where is the option for having these characters evicted?
So I did ask that as well. I did ask. I think it's not fair that I have to leave my home. You know, I put a lot of money into it, making a home. I worked very hard for it. I waited a very long time, so I didn't feel like I had to be the one to leave.
No, I agree with you.
Her response was really that she can't speak about someone else's tenancy, which I suppose is understandable. But then again, it leaves me in a triangle because, like, you know, should I hand back my tenancy and leave, or should I wait and hope for the best?
Now you have videos and photographs and also evidence that could be corroborated by the An Garda Síochána who have called out. Surely that is enough for them to take action against the tenants above you who clearly don't respect the property that they have been given, and they certainly don't respect their neighbour. So why then is it that they said, oh, it's really hard to evict tenants, you're in and out of court, and when you're in court the judge won't evict them because there's children involved and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so it's very hard, it's very difficult. There's no, at the moment it feels like there's no solution.
Okay, let me just take a quick break. Come back after the break and we'll finish our conversation. Get involved, lads. What do you make of this story? Text 0868 104 106 after the break.
Get on to Prendeville.
Text or WhatsApp Neil now. 0868 104 106.
The Neil Prendeville Show on Red FM.
Pick up the phone 0818 104 106. You can text 0868 104 106. And I'm curious as to what you believe should happen in a situation or a scenario like this. I mean, in my world, you're gone. You just are gone. If you don't respect your neighbours and respect the property and abide by the rules and play ball, then you should just be evicted. Maybe I'm being cruel or harsh or overreacting. I don't think so. Walk in Sarah's shoes to see how bad it is. Did the council, I'm going to use the word, mediate on your behalf with these 15 above you? Did anybody, housing officer, go down and talk to them even?
They did on 2 separate occasions, but after the 2 separate occasions, both times it just got worse.
So they need to go. You need this business of stay at home and lock your door, move to another property, go into Edel House. That's an appalling set of choices.
It is. It's very hard because, you know, like, I shouldn't have to leave my house, and I was actually... you know, I don't want to say too much because I am going anonymous, but there was a previous tenant had to leave over due to social behaviour as well. It was one of the reasons she had to leave the property, so I'm actually the second tenant.
So somebody else had this property before you, moved out for the very reasons that you're talking about, and you moved in and inherited it. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, I was just kind of thrown in the deep end. You know, take one person out and throw another person in, and you know, if they do move me, I don't want another young mother to go through what I'm going through at the moment.
Lambs to the slaughter comes to mind. Tell me this: when that other tenant moved out, was it the same characters above?
It was, yeah. So they've been there as long as as long as.
So they're just allowed to behave in any way they want without any fear of any repercussions. Yeah. Because this has happened with the people who were there before you.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you have to clean up all of that, all of the beer cans and the bottles and the fag butts and the takeaway junk?
I do, yeah, I do. Like, you know, obviously I don't have to, but if I want my son to be able to enjoy the back garden for the summer, of course I have to clean it up, you know.
Would you mind if we just took all of this audio and you sent me all of the photographs and the videos that you had and we packaged it all together and send it to to City Hall, right up to the city manager?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Because this isn't fair on you. I mean, this is twice, 3 times, perhaps 4 times a week. How do they even afford to be able to party like that? Do you ever wonder about that, Sarah?
I know.
I mean, could you?
Definitely not. Not with the price of living.
I mean, that's an expensive way to live your life, partying 3 or 4 times a week for 12 hours at a time.
It is, yeah.
Do any of them work?
Well, I've never seen any of them going in and out to work or any uniforms or anything like that, so I'd say not.
You know, you think when you've heard it all, another story like this comes along. So when was the last time you were actually able to stay? You say sometimes you go... When did you stay last?
I stayed there last 2 nights ago with a friend.
With a friend, okay. And what were those nights like?
They weren't too bad. Obviously, I'm very nervous, so it would be 7:30, 8. I'd be going into the property and I'd be leaving for work again at 10 o'clock the next morning. So it's not for a long period I'm in the house, luckily.
So you're trying to sleep, your son... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just afraid of, what could happen. And now, obviously, I've contacted the guards and they're aware I've contacted the guards, obviously, so I am afraid of what comes next, as every other time it has just got worse,
Yeah, so it's not just about the noise or not being able to sleep or the rubbish and the junk or the catcalling. What's that about?
Yeah, so, if I'm out putting rubbish in the bin, they sit in groups in cars outside the door. They've passed comments. They've passed comments to my child also in the past. They've damaged my property on 2 occasions.
How?
The front door, the night that he tried to get in, he damaged my front door. And their clothes horse tipped on the balcony and a few things fell into my back.
All right, well.
And the woman asked, could she go in and get them? And I refused. I said, not a hope is anyone coming into my house. And I went away for the weekend with my child to try and get him out of that situation and leave him enjoy a weekend away somewhere nice. And I came back and my back gate was damaged and all the stuff was gone.
What's the catcalling would be? Is catcalling of a sexual nature?
Yeah, it is. So it's very intimidating. It's it's not nice. It's not nice, especially when you're with your child or if any woman is alone on their own. It's not nice.
Yeah, I was looking at Cork City Council's policy on antisocial behaviour. They've got a lot of words on it, I have to say, lots and lots of words. But they say, because they're landlords and have to abide by all of the rules that a landlord would have to abide by, they can terminate the tenancy for lots of different things, including antisocial behaviour. And that can be everything that you've said ticks those boxes, right? They also collaborate with An Garda Síochána to address the public order offences and things like that. They talk about they can put legal orders on people. Clearly, they can evict them. They can evict them.
Yeah.
They say that. They can breach the tenancy agreement. I'm not so sure they do it all that often if what they're telling you is lock your door, move to another damp, mouldy, dirty old property or go into Edel House. Why is it that those that are causing the trouble always seem to be the ones that are facilitated the most? Do you ever think of that?
Yeah, I think it's very unfair. Like, on my behalf, I've done nothing wrong. I followed all the protocols, everything the guards have told me to do, the council. I've done everything in my power that I can. I've not dealt with them personally myself, and I feel like I'm still the one to be punished. I'm being tore out of my home and thrown in somewhere else. Okay. And it's just left for the next person then to be thrown in there, and the same thing keeps happening. Okay.
You're a working mother, right? You sleep at night, you get up early in the morning, get yourself ready, you get your son ready and everything. He goes to creche or to wherever the case may be, and you go out to work. You work hard to put a roof over your child's head.
Exactly,
This was an ideal property for you as a dream home. Why is it that others can just sit around in a city council provided property with all of the benefits that the state will give them on top of all of that? If they have a city council property, they would be receiving many different payments, I'm assuming, on top of all of that. Probably never have to work, and just sit back and give 2 fingers to the likes of you who's going out to work in the morning, partying all day into the early hours, don't have to get up in the morning to go to work, incidentally. They can sleep it off and start all over again. I mean, it's just beyond infuriating.
Yeah, it's hard, all right. It's difficult.
Okay. So, is there anything else that I need to know at this stage?
I hope I covered everything. I was quite nervous coming on this morning.
You're great.
I do hope I covered everything.
Sarah, you're great. You really are. And you're wearing a beautiful little son, in fairness to you. And you need to get on with life and enjoy it and be happy and feel safe. And you don't feel safe.
Yeah, that's it. All I want is a small bit of security, you know. Locking my front door isn't enough at this stage.
Yeah, and okay, yeah. It's a man came down to you. There are many men above you, aren't there?
Yeah, it was actually 2 men, but only one tried to come in.
Okay, all right. Okay, tell you what you do now. Just get me those photographs and anything that you might have in that regard, or videos or what have you. Let's reach out and say what they have to say on the matter, because this just is not fair. It's not fair on loads of different levels. It's not fair on you. In fact, it's not fair on society. It's not fair on people who actually are going out to work hard to pay taxes so that properties can be provided for people who need them. And then we have 15 people above you who clearly don't respect them and don't respect the opportunity that they have been given. If it were down to me, they'd be out. I don't know how easy that would be in the course, but I certainly wouldn't tolerate it. You must be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're worn out from it. Okay, Sarah, you do that, okay? And we'll update with we'll update with you as soon as there's somewhere to update with. Okay.
Thanks so much, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me and respond to me. It's very much appreciated.
Thanks, Sarah. You're lovely. Thank you so much. We'll talk again. Your thoughts on that, lads? Text 0868 104.